Hey, comic book friends, I'm Travis, and it's Talking Comics. I'm going to be talking comics from the week of March 20th, 2024, I believe. Jump right into it, have a few books. We'll start out with Nightwing issue number 112, continuing a story of a young boy who has just lost his parents, been scooped up by his uncle. Largely the story mostly centers around Dick and Bruce both remembering back to when Dick first started out in their relationship, as they moved along and whatnot, and the relationship between the two of them even now, that Bruce continues to be the concerned father in his own fashion, and not all of it is as unconventional as what one might think. Everybody always kind of portrays Batman as being this cold fish, and he's really not. Lots of times, Taylor continues to write a great story. We are with a different artist right now. I'm looking forward to the next arc. This ends, so I believe that the next issue starts the new arc, where we get some crazy story, I think, going forward. Rise and fall of Dick Grayson sort of stuff. It's been a joy to be reading Nightwing. Curious to see where that leads. Tom Taylor implied that after that arc, maybe he's done. I asked, he didn't answer, so I don't know. It felt like that's what he implied. But Nightwing has been a joy to read. Let's see, Midlife, or How to Hero at 50 issue number 6, end of the arc. Hopefully there is a lot more coming. Finish the story. They can sell a trade now. All that good stuff. I really enjoyed the way this ended. Where it left some the door open to do some other stuff, more background, some explanation for some stuff, future enemies, and just all kinds of things to set up a great superhero book that looks at superheroing from a more unique standpoint. Coming at it, being in your 50s and suddenly having superpowers and all of that's involved with his mother and whatnot. I continue to really like Simone. On my camera. Focus. There you go. That second name there. Someday. It's one of my goals is to learn how to pronounce people's names. I'll never reach it, but I'd really like to be able to. I really like their art style. I think they do they have their own kind of vibe, and I don't know, in my old age of comics, I am enjoying artists who, probably not even my old age, I think it's probably always been that way, who have their own kind of vibe, as far as, they hold all the elements of doing a comic properly. But they have their own look. You immediately open up and go, hey, I know who this is. And I really dig that. I really dig being able to, pop a book open and go, hey, I know who's done that. But anyway, anybody who hasn't picked this up in singles, if you're interested, you like superhero vibes, stuff that happened in the 80s, because they reference back to some stuff in the 80s, some fun pop culture that happens in the 80s. Especially if you're somebody who's in my age bracket, you definitely want to check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's got some good chuckles in it, and a good story. Some believable characters. It's some good stuff. Issue number 7 of Wonder Woman. This issue takes place either after or before issue 5. It's It's a trope we've seen before, I believe. I can't name the comics off the top of my head, but it's basically Wonder Woman and Superman going birthday shopping for Batman. So it has some levity in it. They go to basically someplace way out in space. There is an emporium that sells basically everything. Giant satellite that has everything on it, imaginable kind of a thing, and a Starbucks around every corner. Of course, they call it something different than Starbucks, but the implication is that a Starbucks around every corner. But it also addresses the kind of the elephant in the room of what's starting to happen to Wonder Woman in America. The fact that she's basically been outlawed. Superman implies, I'm truth, justice, and the American way. It's kind of my gig. Do you want some help? And she's not taking help from anybody. Basically has to be like. I love this cover just because I love the sword splitting them facing off introduction, but I also hate it because it's a sword. And anybody who watches my videos for, I don't know, 10 years or more, I grumble about anytime they have Wonder Woman with a sword. She doesn't have a sword inside this. So the art is, the penciling is by Gilliam March. I am a big Gilliam March fan. Some of his stuff, yes, is a little on the cheesecakey side. But I still enjoy him anyway. He once again has a style, but I've discovered that his style can be affected, and this issue it's definitely affected it. Normally, Tamu, I want to say his last name is, does the coloring, and he does the coloring on the cover here, and so it looks like Gilliam March. He has a certain way with noses and eyes and stuff like that. I'm going to flip through this for a second as I'm talking because I need to look up who it is that... Okay, so on the cover art, it is Mori. Tamu, Tomeu, Mori, Morey, does the coloring on the cover. On the inside, the coloring is done by Arif Pariento, and I do not like it. I don't know what happens. I don't know. It doesn't look right. It has hints of being March's work. Ooh, wow. Let's try and. It has hints of being March's work, but not. There's just something wrong. It doesn't have the right angles. It's soft. I'm not sure how I want to describe it. And part of it is normally, even though it's a superhero comic, it's normally colored in the palette that's always used. His palettes tend to be purples and oranges and greens, and they will use that even when it's a superhero comic. I think I remember first it really becoming apparent to me pre-52, some Detective Comics. He did a 2-issue run, and it just was very striking. This is a fun story. Tom King does a good job of doing levity, of drawing back to some comic book history while addressing the stuff that he needs to address. I don't know. I just really found it shocking how different this colorist. I really should have not been lazy about this conversation and should have dug out some other stuff by March with a different colorist on it, and it just I don't know. And it's not that it's superheroes, because the guy has done lots of superhero work. That's how I found him in the first place. By and large, that's the only way you can get his work in the United States, is through superhero comics. He does have a comic that was reprinted here I don't know, it's been a few years now, I think. Um, I'm drawing a blank on what that is, too. Isn't that terrible? Man, I'm bad. I'm bad at this. I need more practice. Anyway, let's go on to something else. Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America. This is issue number 3. Excellent cover here. Just an excellent story. This story kind of falls into the one and done category. John and his cohorts are working towards a bigger goal. John's helping himself, trying to keep his kid safe, and in the process of helping himself is helping Morpheus, Sandman, take care of some old issues in America. And we also get a story about America, about the America Southwest. We get some commentary on border crossings that are going on here in the United States. And it's all really good. Some really good story in there. Kind of playing with the bigger tropes of representation of America and that sort of thing. I don't know how many issues this is, but I'm really liking it. It's still, like I said, it still feels like the classic stuff, or better than the classic. Damien was one of the people that commented on how dark the last issue was. This issue isn't as dark. I mean, it's still at night. A lot of it's set in reds and whatnot, but it's still it's good. It's not, like I said, it's not quite the same level of darkness that the last issue was in. It still uses this kind of, I don't know, photo gray stuff for getting more of the back history of our Oracle that is being drug along with them. But we play with some American mythos. We play with Pecos Bill and Paul Bunyan and other references and whatnot. All stuff that I really enjoy. Some really good storytelling in this. Like I said, there's a story in the story, and the story that's in the story is all really good stuff. We'll see where it goes. Like I said, the shame that this book they pulled the plug on it. I'm glad it came back. I hope it's selling well. I hope the trades sell well so it can continue to move along, because it's definitely top of my list of things to read when it comes out. And finally this week, nice small week of books, is Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. Talked about when I picked the book up. Really love that cover. This cover artist is doing this arc. This whole story is done in 3 different arcs. There's the beginning arc when our characters are young and are meeting, and we get some backstory on them. Then there's some hints of some sinister stuff to come in the future. Then we have a middle section, which is done by another artist, of them kind of living their lives together and all that entails and whatnot. And here we are in the final arc. Nick Gradata is doing the art on the final arc. This is a Jason Aaron written book. This is the end. It ends at 15 or 16. Can't remember now. So we're getting close to the end. This is them picking up the pieces of things that they've left behind. Not to spoil a ton, their relationship has been shattered. But now they're not back together, but they're having to deal with the same thing together. And it's really interesting. There's some implications in here. I don't want to talk about a ton because y'all should be reading this. If you didn't pick it up in singles, start buying the trades. I think it's well worth the read. I'm looking forward to Disembodied Voice getting to this issue, just so I can have a conversation with somebody about some implications that are in here about their relationship, and what does that mean? Because I'm really curious about that. It really has me thinking. Good book when I put it down, and days later I'm still I wonder what they mean by that. Art is excellent in it. Art has been excellent all the way along. Each artist that Jason has worked with has really delivered a smart, fun book. It has some really hilarious moments in it and whatnot, some joyful stuff in it. And then there's some super dark and some super sinister stuff. The world is destroyed. They tried to rebuild part of it. It's now back to being destroyed. There's a death cult getting ready to pull the pin, potentially, to actually completely end the world. They're all miserable, but they're still fighting to try and keep it together, for whoever that might be, because they clearly don't care for themselves, but at the same time they do. They don't care about each other, but clearly they do. Just some really, really good stuff. It was an excellent week of books. Thank you for those of you who have watched, have been watching, commented. I appreciate it as I slowly work my way back into figuring this whole thing out. Maybe this video sounds a little different. I've been still struggling with trying to get all the technical kinks out. I've hated the sound that's been going on before. It's been coming from my camera mic, so it sounds like I'm sitting, inside of a poorly insulated tin can. Hopefully it's now picking up from a microphone that I have, which hopefully does a lot better job. Hopefully I sound better. I'm still working on the kinks, so it'll get better. Still going to be a casual. It's still going to be just turning my camera on, I don't know, ill-prepared, just picking up a book and whatever hits my mind that I think I want to talk about or whatever, that's what I talk about. That's my jam. I'm here to hang out with friends. Hopefully you guys are my friends, and I'll get some new friends maybe along the way in this conversation. But yeah, I'm here just to shoot the breeze about comic books, the stuff I love. And obviously, if you're wasting your time watching these things, you must love it too. So I appreciate y'all. Until next week when I'll have more books to talk about. Have a great one, everybody.